So, good morning and namaskar to everyone. On behalf of NABARD, GIZ, and Village Square, we welcome all the participants to this exclusive webinar titled Pathways to Agroecology and Natural Farming Insights from JIVA program. I am moderator of this session, and I should introduce myself first. I am Dr. Deepak Chamula. I have over 20 years of experience in agriculture sector, particularly in agroecology, food system, climate resilient agriculture, and FPOs. Currently, I work with GIZ as advisor and engaged with Swati project, that is support to agroecological transformation in India. The objective of this webinar is to share innovative approaches, experiences, and insights of JIVA program of NABARD, which is supported by GIZ and various knowledge partners, including WASSAN, RYSS, and many others, to the larger audience, including journalists, media professionals, agriculture specialists, students, and others. So the agenda of this webinar will be into two sections. The first section will deal with presentations from experts. It will be around 60 minutes, and thereafter we will have question answer session for about 30 minutes. So total 1.5 hour we are expecting the total duration. Participants can post their questions on the chat, and there is a separate question answer box where they can put their if they have any questions in the question answer box. And there is a separate chat box. If you have any input or any suggestion or any you want to share anything, you can share in the chat box. So there are these two are separate boxes. And we have as per registration sheet, we have wide range of participants, including working professionals uh, from NGOs and civil society organizations. uh, Journalists have also joined this webinar, and students are also basically interested, and they have also joined this webinar. So to start with, as Village Square is coordinating this entire webinar, so first of all, I would like to thank Village Square for hosting this webinar. And to share more about Village Square, I would like to invite Miss Shristi Shankar. She is communication professional with a passion for driving impactful narratives. She has worked with NGOs, innovative startups on various developmental issues such as public health. She is currently associated as program executive with Village Square. I will request Srishti ji to briefly talk about Village Square initiative, especially your engagement with fellows and journalists for documenting development stories. Over to you, Srishti ji.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for the stage. Before I begin talking about Village Square, we at Village Square take full responsibility. We see there is a technical glitch and you might not be able to rename yourselves. So if you could just confirm quickly over the chat if that is an option, if you're joining as a participant or a panelist, if you can rename yourselves. If not, we're definitely trying on our back end to change that. Having said that, hello everyone, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on this weekday. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time for being here. And my name is Srishti Shankar, as Dr. Deepak said, and I'm associated with Village Square as a programs executive, talking a bit about Village Square over here. So at Village Square, we have worked extensively to bridge the urban-rural divide, and how we are doing it is through storytelling, dialogue, and advocacy. So where we present a holistic and a very authentic view of the rural India, and we have several rural immersive programs wherein we empower the journalists, storytellers, and young change makers to experience the first-hand experience of the rural and rich India and of the rural communities. Over the last 3 years, we have successfully hosted two cohorts of the fellowship program, which has hosted in about 20 fellows coming from 18 states in India. And we have produced very impactful, around 350 impactful stories covering a wide range of themes such as gender, climate, entrepreneurial successes, livelihood, and innovations that really define the core of our rural India. Now, throughout this work, the fellows that were involved at Village Square, they have gotten their guidance and they were guided with people and professionals with 25 to 30 years of working experience, working as a journalists and storytellers. So that's a little bit about Village Square. Before we begin, I would ask my colleague Dherita if she can quickly put in the chat box several social links to Village Square if you can follow. If you have any queries, if you want to explore any opportunities with Village Square, we would also be mentioning an email ID. You can reach out to us. In addition to that, I would also request Herita. There is a 2 minute video that we would like to play for you. If we can play that, Herita. Thank you. Yes, Herita, you can just play it.
We cannot hear the basically sound.
Yes, sir. We earlier when we had played, the volume was there. I'm not sure why is it happening again.
Okay, no
Upon
issues. Yeah, maybe later you can just explain about this.
Thank you so much, Terita. You can stop sharing your screen. Thank you so much. Right. So as you just mentioned, truly apologetic again. We had a very beautiful background music playing along the video, but because of technical reasons, that was not being played. The video, the background music. As you could see, we have derived very impactful change through storytelling and dialogue, and we cover several themes which stands at the core of defining what rural India is. And one of the themes and the ways which we do is through our fellowship program. And we have a very exciting speaker who would be joining us in the later webinar today, who will be talking about her experiences of the immersive rural program as well. And I would ask Dherita to post the link to all her socials, which she just did. So with that, thank you so much. I would hand it over to you, Dr. Deepak. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Srishti ji. Thank you for sharing the initiatives of Village Square and showing this interesting video. And if the participant have any question regarding this Village Square initiatives, they can post their questions in the question and answer box. Yeah. So now we will begin our formal technical session on JIVA program. So agroecology, the entire webinar is focusing on agroecology and natural farming, and we understand that agroecology needs to be understood from wide range of stakeholder perspective who are involved in agroecology basically processes. So so in this regard, we have speakers from NABARD, Resource Support Agency, Project Implementing Agency, and journalists, and they will be presenting their perspective, their experiences about JIVA program. So it is our privilege to have Dr. A.V. Bhavani Shankar, CGM FSDD NABARD. He is with us. And Dr. A.V. Bhavani Shankar holds a PhD in horticulture from the prestigious Indian Agriculture Research Institute, New Delhi. and he has nearly 3 decades of rich experience in agriculture and rural development and institution building, especially in cooperatives and farmer producer organization (FPOs). Currently, Dr. Bhavani Shankar is leading an FSDT NABARD head office vertical, overseeing various natural resource management program, farmer producer organizations, piloting innovations and value chain promotion, etc., supported by NABARD. I will now invite CGM sir to share his presentation on embedding agroecology in NRM portfolio of NABARD JIVA program. Over to you, sir.
Thanks, Dr. Deepak. My thanks to GIZ and Village Square for making this webinar happen. Thank you so much. Before I go into JIVA per se, a bit of intro about what NABARD is. Some moments back, Dr. Deepak was saying we have a mix of participants. I welcome all of you for this webinar, interesting webinar on a contemporary subject. Yeah, please. Yeah. So let's get into the presentation. It was a pleasure to speak to some students. I understand some students are also here. Now, for those who are not familiar with NABARD, NABARD is called as a Developmental Bank of India. You can see this. Technically, we are called a developmental financial institutions set up in 1982 by an act of parliament with a mission to promote sustainable and equitable agriculture and rural development. These words are very important and they set the context why NABARD is into developmental programs like JIVA. We are present in all the states through our regional office, and we also have district level offices manned by one-man office. Our primary functions, I can classify them into three. One is a credit function, by which we finance the state governments for creation of infrastructure. We also finance the banks for their lending to farmers. We call this as refinance. The second function is more related to supervision of the banks. As all of us understand, Reserve Bank of India is the central bank of India, which regulates all the banks in the country. NABARD, on behalf of Reserve Bank of India, supervises the banks which are in the rural areas. For instance, regional rural banks and rural cooperative banks. And the third major function of NABARD is the developmental work. That is where this particular department of NABARD comes into picture, which works on sustainable and equitable agriculture and rural development. We work through several huge number of partners that include civil society organizations, farmer producer organizations, SHGs, joint liability groups. We also work with the corporates through their foundation, etc. This is in brief about us. Next, please. And as I said earlier, we undertake a lot of developmental works. A couple of them we are presenting here, which are directly related to natural resource management. These include watershed development. I think all of us understand watershed development. And the second one is tribal development, by which we mean we support projects which provide sustainable livelihoods for tribal pockets. We have presence in nook and corner of the tribal pockets of the country. The numbers are very huge. These are built over a period of almost 2 decades, covering nearly 3 million hectares. We cover through our programs. Our exposure of grant is also very staggering. That roughly translates into around 3,000 crores. These two are our flagship programs. Now, on the left-hand side of the screen, you see how we are spread. We are there in all the states through our projects. Notwithstanding this, what is leading us to JIVA? JIVA is a natural farming project. Why we have taken up? I should tell you in the context for that. notwithstanding the projects implemented by us, the projects implemented by various developmental agencies. There are huge number of agencies which are working on the developmental aspects of agriculture or promotional aspects of agriculture. See, if you consider climate change as a reality, land degradation is happening. I mean, Indian agriculture is very diverse. We have about 15 agroecological zones. Each ecosystem is different. And owing to climate change that is happening, a lot of ramifications of that, land degradation is happening. We are losing biodiversity, food and nutrition security. At a macro level, food security we do have. But then if you go to a micro level, say particular village level, etc., the food and nutrition security also assumes great importance. And of course, and also another important factor is the distress of the farmers. All these are very, very interconnected, and they are posing challenges in the Indian agriculture. Okay, so this led us to think about a program that focuses on agroecology. As Dr. Deepak in his initial remarks said, agroecology is covers wide range of subsectors, wide range which are interconnected to agriculture in the country. So that's how JIVA has emanated. Now, next one. I mean, this is what agroecological transformation we wanted to see through JIVA. I mean, as you see on the left-hand side, there are multiple levels of programs which we have implemented starting from 1992, and we started adding layers of sustainability. And the conclusive part is the agroecological approach we adopted for implementation of the JIVA. On the right-hand side, this should be of interest to the students who are participating in this program. These are the various elements of agroecology which we have integrated into our program. Next, please. I'm a bit rushing given the time that is available. We can have a detailed discussion at a different opportunity. Now, I'm coming to the JIVA. JIVA, as you see the tagline of the meaning, we meant a living being or entity imbued with a life force, wherein we integrated all the agroecological approaches through a set of interventions. To begin with, we have started this program in our existing project areas, wherein we wanted to leverage the existing social capital. That is, we have enabled several community level institutions. We want to build on their strength, and also a lot of natural resource management interventions that are done by us, and we want to build on that. Next, please. Now, I mean, this is the framework of JIVA. This particular slide captures the essence of JIVA. The technical aspects would definitely be spoken by the other panelists for this program. But what I would like to emphasize is, on the left-hand side, you see what we want to achieve by JIVA. You see food and nutrition security, you see resilience to climate change, conservation of environment, economic growth, and also safe food to the consumers. This is what we want to achieve by implementing JIVA, for which we wanted to work. I mean, we call them as 3 M's and 3 R's. That would include organic matter, soil moisture, microbial activity, reducing the usage of external inputs, and recycling the farm waste, whatever that is emanating out of the farms, and eventually build up resilience to climate change. For all this, the bedrock, as all of us understand, soil is the living entity. And we intend to make it a very vibrant living entity by working on these 3 aspects. And then how do we want to work? While theoretically this is the framework, in order to operationalize these things, we need to work through some set of interventions, right? There are about 9 different kinds of interventions which we have implemented. We are implementing, I should say, but some of them I would like your attention. One is the first point, farmer-led extension and capacity building. It's a bottom-up approach. Now, farmer-led extension, how we have operationalized this? See, we have identified some good farmers in a cluster of 5 acres or 10 acres. And then we are disseminating through him some set of interventions are implemented, and the knowledge is being disseminated through him to the other farmers. Like for instances, we choose a 5-acre area in geographical area. We identified one farmer. He will be training 5 farmers, and then likewise it gets multiplied. So it is basically a peer-to-peer learning program, in short. The other set of interventions you find crop diversification and intensification. And how does this happen? There are various models that have been developed on the crop diversification. What we basically intend is 365 years, there should be some crop which is providing nutritional security to farmer and also food security to the farmer's family. I would also invite your attention to the support systems. The support systems include, I mean, before I talk about support system, I should also say an important feature of, I should also talk about an important feature of JIVA. It's an end-to-end value chain approach. Support systems will enable input manufacturing, bioresource input manufacturing, biological inputs, you may say, and also marketing of the produce. So from A to Z of the farmer's needs and his marketing, we try to address, but a localized value chain, through a very localized value chain. And the last aspect also I would invite your attention, which is monitoring and evaluation. We have built into the project design a set of very specific deliverables. Okay, and then the programs will be monitored, or the projects will be monitored based on these deliverables, and a set of evaluation matrix has also been developed. Next slide. Okay, now this is the implementation aspect. We have started implementing this project a couple of years ago, wherein we have chosen to implement 24 projects. And these 24 projects will have 2 phases. One is the capacity building phase, we may call, and rest 3 years of the project would be on consolidating this project. So we have chosen about 24 hours of our existing projects, which may be watershed development or a tribal development, and then we have built on them. Now we have covered 5 agroecological zones, and we are planning to expand. This is where the interest lies in. While the existing projects will be going, we are trying to go into different agroecological zones so that we build on experiences of all the 15 agroecological zones. We are slowly and on a very graded approach we are going, and we will be entering into the new agroecological zones. This is basically the implementation aspect. And the expansion part, I would like to tell you, yeah, I would soon conclude. Yeah. The expansion process, I would say that we are entering into agroecological zones which are more vulnerable. That I mean to say that the northeastern states, we are entering in our expansion phase. Next, please. I mean, this is the spread. Okay, this is the spread that we are concentrated in these particular states. Next, please. This is the monitoring part. We have also a portal has been developed, which has a web application and also a mobile application, wherein all the parameters will be monitored, including tracking farmers' progression. I mean, this is there's a dashboard that is coming where physical and financial progress, how much is the progress in the implementation of the interventions, how much is the financial progress, that means how much money has been spent. All these are being tracked. An interesting part is this will also have a knowledge repository which can be accessed, which is in a public, which can be accessed by the general public. Next, please. I mean, these are the overall outcomes that we would try to achieve. I mean, I have shown in the earlier slide what we would like to achieve. That has been broken down into specific outcomes. This is what it says. And the results so far we have are very, very encouraging. And this is what on the result side. Notwithstanding the numbers that is there, which are very impressive, for a pilot that is taken up, which is one and a half year old at the field level, I would draw your attention towards the last few things. Some seasonal increase in the income. 10,000, it could be 15,000. But the point is, the farmers who are taken up these activities have realized this income. That is the important aspect. I mean, the next point is multiple models. I mean, if you see ATM, it is like ATM. I was talking about 365 days. Some source of income should be there. This is what the meaning of it. Multiple models are emerging. As all of us understand, we have a predominance of small and marginal farmers where the area is less than 1 hectare. So this is a value addition that is coming out of the project, and major crops, etc. You would definitely see. And one other point which I would like your attention to be brought is bio input resource centers at the village level. There are some bio input manufacturing units, small size. I mean, they are not big. While I'm using the word manufacturer, it is basically preparation of the inputs. Whereas small units, localized units, taken up on an entrepreneurship model by the local farmers themselves. Next, please. So these are some knowledge products that are emanating. So this is all about intro about JIVA. The technical aspect would definitely be spoken by fellow panelists. But I mean, to conclude, a lot of buzz is coming around this. A lot of interest is generated. If you see at a macro level, at a macro level, the government of India has come up with a natural farming, national mission on natural farming. This is how we would like to take forward this program. And eventually, if you look at point 8, it is creation of an agroecological development fund, which will enable scaling up this. Whoever constitutes the fund, NABARD would definitely be an active partner. Lastly, but this is not the last. Okay, the most important aspect. I place on record my sincere, very sincere, very, very sincere gratitude to partners in making this happen, this program happen. That is the technical support that being extended by GIZ, the support that is being extended by WASSAN, the support extended by Raitu Sadhikarita Samstha of Government of Andhra Pradesh, who were instrumental in placing the resource persons at the field level. And very importantly, the ground level project implementing agencies, which are the civil society organization. Once again, my very sincere gratitude to all these partners who are able to who have supported us in this endeavor. This is an experiment that is happening, and the kind of results that are emanating, I'm fully convinced this is going to be a very successful program. Thanks to all of them. Thanks to Village Square for organizing this webinar. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for sharing this informative presentation focusing on JIVA program and how it is transforming agriculture sector across different states. And we have also started receiving questions in our question answer section, but I think you need to move for some meeting. So maybe questions we will take after this session, technical session. So there is one interesting comment, sir, in the chat box. Soil is about soul of infinite life, and JIVA is all about soil. And JIVA logos, if you see, it focuses on soil health. So this is very interesting comment. So thank you very much, sir, for your time and your informative presentation.
Just a last comment. In one of the recent soil health day that is celebrated, this point I made, that soil is the soul of infinite living. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So as sir mentioned that JIVA program has various subsector, various partners, and there are interlinkages among different sectors, and different partners are supporting JIVA program. Here, WASSAN is playing an important role, specifically as a resource support agency. They are building capacities of project facilitating agencies or project implementing agencies which are implementing JIVA projects on ground. They are supporting farmers and also developing various knowledge products. Specifically, they have basically developed an approach on landscape based planning process. So from WASSAN we have Miss Prachi Patil. She is senior program officer in WASSAN. She has a specialization in water science and technology from IARI, and she has extensive experience on transformational agroecology across food, land, and water system. I now invite Ms. Prachi Patil to discuss agroecology and landscape-based planning in JIVA program. And I think because our there was one more speaker earlier, Mr. Prakash Rao. He is not able to come. So I will request Prachi ji to include farmer-led extension system in her
Sure.
presentation. So over to you,
Thank
Prachi
you.
ji.
Thank you, Deepak ji. I hope I'm audible. Good morning, everyone. After Bhavaniji's great startup on what is the basis for JIVA and why, after he has set up a very good context, let's see what are the different phases of JIVA. We will go into the detail. Basically, I'll be focusing in this presentation on the planning process that is majorly used in JIVA and how it is working. So, is my slide visible to everyone?
Yes,
Just
Prachi
put
ji.
it on the slide more. Just a second. Okay. Fine. So the topic what I'm going to cover today is agroecology and landscape-based planning in JIVA program, along with additional one point, how sir has, Bhavani sir has briefly touched upon it, but how is the extension of the activities and design happening in JIVA? So that part also we'll see towards the end of this slide. Just for better internet connectivity, I'll switch off my video. I hope that is fine. Okay, so very brief introduction to my organization. I work with WASSAN, and so WASSAN is Watershed Support Services and Activities Network. We basically focus on rain-fed landscapes, and our work area is so there are various thematic areas in which we work. So natural resource management, regenerative agriculture, and strengthening local economies are the major focus areas in which we particularly work. So WASSAN work across various communities. One of our foundational pillars with whom we work is networks. Yeah, we have around 200 network partners with whom we work across India, and obviously with government in number of programs. So this is brief about my organization. There is a link given below. If you want to go ahead, please go for further details. So coming to the topic directly now. See, I have placed one image on the left-hand side. There are different components. So there are different production systems you'll be able to see on this. There are cattle-based production systems, fishery. Then the women are collecting something. You can see the millets growing. There are trees around, there are birds, and there is a big landscape, right? So what happens when we use this term like, let's say, agroecology, landscape-based planning, so we try to interlink. So it is an interconnectedness between different components. So whether it is biotic or abiotic components that we see in our environment, and how they are interlinked and how they function. So if you see this is just a very rough sketch, and this is very easier one. If we go on adding these components, what we see around us, this web will become more and more complex. So see this soil microbes, livestock, forest, birds, household nutrition. I have just picked up some random words which we generally use in related to agriculture. And if you try to map their linkages with each and every other component, you'll see this web getting more and more complex if we start adding more and more linkages to this. So anything that we see in the, in our landscape across, it does not exist in isolation. Okay, so there is always an interlink between this components, and the dependencies are there on on each other. So if you see this, like now let's assume that even if one component is misplaced in the complete planning process or when you do the intervention, it impacts all the other linkages in different manner. So just for example, if we continuously practice monocropping in one farm, I have just picked up one example, but there could be any other example. Let's say use of pesticides, excess use of fertilizers. So it is going to impact your soil microbes, household nutrition, because family has to depend on outside market to purchase the other nutritional aspect, pulses, oilseeds. You can see its impact on various other parts. So, agar ek link, if one link is broken, it leads to damages of all the other links what you are able to see in this film. So, with this as a very basic understanding of agroecology, I mean, like there is a definition for agroecology and it has 13 principles. Then there's a definition for landscape, and then how we look at it in the social, economical, and ecological aspects. So these are the ways in which we look at it. But to put it in the simplest context, we have to understand these interlinkages between each of these components and how they are dependent on each other. And if one linkage is damaged, what are its repercussions? So keeping this thing in mind, the planning process for JIVA has been designed, which we'll be discussing shortly after one slide. I think Bhavani sir has already touched upon this, but I'll just reiterate those points because this is quite important, and he has given 1 or 2 minutes to the slides properly. So when we talk of JIVA, there are 5 major things which are really core for JIVA. So one is the behavioral transformation. So here we are expecting the farmer's behavior is transforming. It's the word transformation here means from X place, the farmer is getting transformed to Y place. And when that is happening, it is not just at the farm level. So one thing is that change is happening at the farm level, but the other thing is the change is happening simultaneously at the landscape level. And what is getting changed when this transformation is happening? You see these changes in crops, livestock, fishery, and other production systems also, which may be forest, which may be poultry, which may be small ruminants, whatever is prominent in particular location. So this is happening on farm. And when we see this complete area which is getting changed, so it comes all the commons into it, livestock, fisheries, all the landscape as per se complete is getting transformed from one point to another. So this is one of the very important things which he briefly touched. We will be seeing this in detail, how this transformation is happening. Then second important point of this program is support system. So see, since the program is focusing at the landscape level development, which includes interventions at on-farm and then also at the landscape level, there are certain support systems which are required on which the farmer generally depends. So let's say seed system, fodder bank, so, agriculture service centers, then BRC unit, what sir mentioned, even entrepreneur breed farm for poultry. So there are n number of support processing units, small processing units. I'm not saying a big one. So whatever the household depends and goes to the market to purchase. Let's say I'm going to bring oil from outside. I'm going to the market to purchase the vegetables. I'm going to the market to bring seeds. So whatever the support systems the people in that landscape depend on, are there possibilities to develop those systems so that there's an access for the farmers to this support system, which makes them to function and make this transformation easy. So this is related to the support system part. Then strengthening circular economy. So this is another important component of JIVA, which focuses upon how the economy, how you do the circular economy within that landscape only. So I'll take 30 seconds to explain you one example. So we were in Koraput, one of the tribal areas of Odisha, and in that we were doing a study in Godaput village. So it's an 80 household village where you see these people, and this is a tribal area. It's not a area which is linked around market or something. It is a tribal area. So this 80 household ka village, which is a tribal area and relatively remote, I would say, spends around 30 lakh annually just outside their village, goes to the market on meat, oil, then pulses, and then cereals, processed dal. So these are the components you see, the vegetables. So these are the components you see, basically the money is going out. So how you think of internalizing this cost so that there is a circularity of the economy within that landscape only. So I'm growing pulses, but I'm selling it out and then I'm purchasing the dal from outside. So I'm growing paddy, then I'm selling the rice and then I'm bringing the processed rice in the landscape. So that nutrient, that complete bulk of nutrient is going out of your landscape and then you're purchasing it again from the market, which is not returning back to you. The complete JIVA program, as Sir also highlighted and Deepak Ji was also mentioning, is about soil at its core. It is all about how the nutrients are getting circulated from the soil to human beings to livestock to different production systems and back into soil. And if certain nutrient gets skipped out of your landscape, then how you're going to bring it back, how you internalize it. So that circularity is something which is seen in JIVA. Another important component is ecosystem regeneration. So with this transformation, when we are saying we are taking an agroecological transformation, that regeneration of the ecosystem could be reflected easily in all the production systems. And all this part, when we are doing all this part is when it is happening, the focus of this program is how you build the nutrition sensitive agriculture. So how households in that landscape are able to have access to nutrient, good food. So it's not just about one or two food groups in your food plate, but more than that, they are able to access, they are able to produce, they are able to consume within their landscape. So that is the broader area in which the program focuses. So these are the broader, components in which the program focuses on. So coming to the topic, how you are doing the planning process in the complete JIVA program and how you capture it to make it simplified in a simplified manner. I'll just explain you broadly what is done, and then we'll go into some details of how the planning process is conducted on the field. So when you talk about profiling, so first step of planning is profiling, where you try to understand baseline information. So what are the list of households, what is the livestock conditions in those locations, all the basic information, and followed by another information, another use of tool called EFRP exercise, which we'll be discussing subsequently. So this tool is used to understand different resources which are available in that location to demarcate those in the Google Earth map, and then also understand what are its current constraints and what are its current potentials. So how you link the production systems with the natural resources, and then how you derive and come up to the intervention part of it. So this is basically talking about the profiling of it, profiling of your complete area. Then this big JIVA area is divided into small clusters. So the clusters could be defined based on the accessibility, based on the convenience of the lead farmer who will be actually supporting and engaging with different farmers to spread JIVA program. So these clusters are defined. And then towards the end, the components what Sir had mentioned in his crop diversification, integration of livestock. So component-wise detailed planning is evolved with the community. So all this process is participatory. People participate in each of this process. The tools are designed in that manner so that people can, the knowledge of the people from the ground is inbuilt into the planning process, and then it is a robust. So this is a broader overview of the planning process. So the planning process starts with the EPRA exercise, participatory rural appraisal. The process basically starts by printing a very large scale map of that location. So let's say this image is showing you a print of the JIVA area, which is taken on around, I think, 10 by 6 flex print with a high resolution, so that all the features within that village are clearly visible on the map. So what happens with this printing of map is once you print this map, we will see how community also is doing, but broadly what happens is once this map is laid down and all the community is sitting around, the committee representing it, all the representatives of the village of that JIVA area should be participating in this program, should be participating in this planning process. This process starts with demarcating the boundaries. So the area is demarcated. People generally know what is their village boundary, so they start with village boundary demarcation. all the important features of that locations are delineated, marked. So you sit with them and then you use the thread, you use the wool, you use the permanent markers, stickers, bindis, to just mark and demarcate the different natural resources what people are able to identify. So drainage lines, roads, habitations. Then you try to understand the land use also. So whether it is a forest area, which are the fallow patches, which are the irrigated patches, which are the rain-fed areas, what are the different land types. So this is very important component when the planning process is happening. Very people, so when we say land type is something based on which the crops are grown. So locally, people have their own notions of their land types, and they do classify it based on the slope, based on the soil depth, based on the features of that, characteristics of that land. Okay. So locally, they have their own systems of defining their land types. Here I have written dham, card. So this is basically from the Jharkhand we have taken this, but then kahi kahi pe jholi zameen, sariya zameen. So these types of words which locally they understand is something which you try to capture in the EPRA process. So usually local classifications are based on slope, soil type, soil depth, risk. But if you go with the scientific name clay soil konsa hai and sandy soil, sandy loam soil konsa hai, they will not be able to tell you that. So they have their understanding of their landscape in their own way. We have to get the information in their own wordings. So that is, and later on it can be, fit back into USDA classification, which are 8, which I think you all must be knowing. So if you see this process, this starts with the basic delineation of the boundary, but then subsequently it ends up with very rich information of water resources, forest, fallow land, irrigated land, rain-fed areas, major crops grown on which patch of land, including different land types. So this all rich information is collected on this part of this. You can see this different ways in which it has been marked. So yellow line, this red color patch is defining one land type. This yellow color mark is defining another land type. So based on the locally recognized by those people only. So mapping the landscape features on Google Earth, integration of spatial visualization with traditional knowledge of the community. So a lot of site discussion happens when this mapping is going on. यहाँ पे पानी कम होता है, ये 12 महीने का कुआं है, ये जमीन अच्छा होता है, ये जमीन हल्का होता है, इस जमीन में ये प्रकार के फसल आते हैं. A lot of information is been discussed when this process of mapping is happening. So what happens basically with this process of EPR, when you're doing this EPR activities, people are able to see the locations where they are sitting, where their land is in one go. And second is they're able, you can get the area or the extent of that, kitna hectares mein hai, kitna acres mein zameen hai. Yeah, this is the part which you can easily get from Google Earth. And the thing is that with multiple discussions in one go, you are able to link the water, the land, the crop, the other issues, the social problems what farmers are discussing in one go. So पानी का link ये जमीन के साथ किस तरह से, how the water is linked with this land type, and then what is its impact on community. So this type of discussions of different layers can be done in one go by using one map. So there is a lot of, you are able to understand it in one glance only. So this map can be easily digitized. So this is just a Malyaguram example I have shared here. My colleague Satish ji is going to even present this in detail, what interventions they have done. So this is the land type map, which was evolved through EPR exercise in Malyaguram program. And then a lot of information related to land use based irrigation practice, water resource mapping, what are the crop details they are cultivating currently, in which patch of land they are doing it. Then what are the horticulture crops? What are the locations of those crops? This type of information can be easily retrieved after digitizing those maps. Okay. So this is first part of the exercise when you are doing the EPRA exercise. This process is followed by the Fasal Chakra exercise, which is called crop cycle. So basically, Fasal Chakra exercise gives you the crop calendar. So just to give what is there is written, exploring crop systems, varietal diversity, crop calendars, and climatic risk in each of the land types. So once you are able to get the land type details and other information from here, we take the land type details in Fasal Chakra, which is placed here. The inner circle is indicating the rainfall, which people per se locally. And this sections are indicating the 12 months of the year. So these are local months, 12 months is defined. And based on the number of land types that has evolved in the EPRA exercise, these circles are defined. So if there are 3 land types if there are 4 land types that have emerged during the earlier exercise, the 4 land types are mentioned here. So when you see the Fasal Chakra, in Fasal Chakra, the innermost circle, people indicate what is their perception, which month the rainfall is heavy, which month there is no rainfall, which month there is slight rainfall. This type of information is collected in the inner circle. And on each land type, a systematic information collection on what are the crops sown in that land type and when are they harvested. So let's say in the month of June, there is a crop sown. And in the month of, let's say, in the month of November, December, that crop is harvested. So in one glance, if you do it systematically for each land type, then ask the questions related to what are the risks they face in that land type, climatic risks they are facing in that land type, what is their current coping mechanisms, what were the crops which were grown earlier in this land types, and what has reduced over the period of time. So this all information could be systematically collected through the Fasal Chakra exercise. This cross, what you are able to see here, are by the way indicating the fallow lands. So for how much duration the land is kept fallow, because of if it is rainfall dependent, there is no rainfall, how the land will be seasonal fallow, right? So this type of information is collected in one go. And a lot of interconnectedness between the above exercise, what we saw, EPRA and this Fasal Chakra could be brought. So just to give you the glimpse, this is the again image of Mallyagudam only when EPRA exercise was going on, and then how the land type information turned out into the Fasal Chakra exercise, which gave a proper information what type of crops are grown, in which month and which land type, and the stones are indicating the fallow lands. So cropping pattern, land use detail, rainfall details, crop details, varietal details, what were the earlier trends in those land types, seasonal fallow, what are the risks and what are the coping mechanisms. A lot of huge, rich information comes around by using these two tools. So this, and I mean, like when this process is happening, a lot of note taking is required because a lot of discussion happens around when this information is getting populated in these two tools. So there are a lot of ways in which you can explore this tool is risk analysis, regeneration of fallow. If you want to do the fodder analysis, if fodder is an issue, nutrition is an issue, you can use this tool. How to increase the crop cover for extended duration, food system analysis, exploring the trends. And I have forgot to write here, etc. But there are n ways in which you can use these tools to just get a deeper understanding of the location and then turning it into your interventions around the components what was presented in the earlier slides. And this is giving you the information of the participants who should be, present from all the representatives of that village should be there. So representatives mane ऊपर की जमीन के नीचे की जमीन के people from different social categories, young people, old people should participate in this exercise so that this exercise and the information which is coming is rich. So coming back to this discussion, we started with this slide. So if you see a very brief information in terms of what is the household details and all those part is taken through open data knowledge platform. And good information is populated using the Google Earth map through EPRA exercise, which later on is followed by Fasal Chakra exercise. And then the clusters are divided. We'll come to this slide, how the clusters are divided. Based on those clusters, then the detailed component-wise planning is made. The component what Sir had shown. There are 8 components in the program. So all the detailed planning through the all this information which has emerged from the earlier plans has leads to the intervention level planning. So when we talk about the cluster level planning, so I wanted to I have shown you this map here. Just give me a second. So this yellow line is basically indicating here the clusters. Now, how this clusters is basically defined based on the convenience, so that the spread of the JIVA is done effectively. Now, how we do it effectively is we'll come to that point. So keep that point in your mind about that cluster. I'm coming to it after 2 slides. So see, when we are talking of JIVA program, in the earlier slides, we talked about how each and everything is interconnected with each other, and agroecology and landscape, how we are looking at this in JIVA program. Then we saw the framework, then we saw the tools what are used. Now I'm telling you what I'm going to present you in the next two slides is how the transformation from farm level and landscape level happens, and what is the mechanism through which it happens. So this you are able to see is the how one farm. It just assume that there is one farm in front of your eyes. So how the transformation can happen. This is how it is envisaged. So initially, the farmer gets aware to know about NF and is encouraged to try it out. Then the farmer enrolls in and initiates. So once there is certain amount of interest in the farmer, he or she tries to enroll those farmers coming forward to try NF in small plots or start taking up small practices. So they have they have shown slight interest, then they want to take trial into small plots, or they want to see one or two practice and see how it is happening. Then practice farmer is farmers start with a plot practice, do it regularly, and generate knowledge and confidence on it. So the practicing farmer is someone after doing a small parcel of land, then he is bit confident. He is bit confident. Then she will do it regularly on that parcel of land because now she is able to get the results from it, and then have experienced NF farmer-led I mean, like then the practices get expanded. So initially, I may be practicing one or two practices. Now I will go into much deeper layer, and I will practice all the POP of that NF practice. And I may extend the area also. I was doing in 1 hectare, but I have 10 hectares, so I may try it out on next 5 hectares. So if you see the complete transformation process, although it is, you can see it in linear form here, but it may be, this may coexist at the same time because you're talking of multiple farmers in one go. So some farmers may be already practicing it, and some farmers may not be aware of it either. ना ये साथ में exist करेगा ये चीजें. But here we have shown it in the linear form. So from awareness in the transformation, and here when we say transformation, has around 75% of the land holdings has converted to NL without using chemicals. So one is they have stopped using chemicals, and 75% of the farmers have transformed in that landscape. So this is the journey of one farm. If you want to see how it can be transformed, multiple variants will be available when you go at the landscape level. And when you're talking of the landscape transformation, which is one of the important emphasis JIVA program gives upon, then you can see a lot of things which when the farm is getting transformed, lot of things around it is getting developed. So for example, engage with farmers, SHGs, FPO schools, let all of them get aware why NF is required. So one is you create that awareness among all the people, okay? Then regenerate fallow lands, common lands, water bodies in the landscape, strengthen their management and production systems. So here we try to work with all the natural resources, what we have marked in the EPRA exercise, and try to regenerate it. And when this thing is happening, when this process is happening, simultaneously you develop the support systems. The support systems, for whatever the farmer is going out in the market, can that be generated within that landscape? Is there a possibility? And if yes, then that is available for that people from to access from within those landscape only. So bio input resource center, equipment rental center, livestock vaccination, and there are n number of ways you can define this support system.
Prachiji,
should be simultaneously developed in the landscape. Yes.
Prachiji, sorry for the interruption, but
Sir,
I think we need to wrap up maybe soon.
Yeah, I'll need only one or 2 minutes. I'll about to close. Okay. So when this is about the support system and circular economy, I briefly touched upon earlier. So this is how the journey of a landscape looks like when it is transforming from this awareness place till it is completely transformed into natural farming part. So this is a farm journey, and this is landscape journey. Now, when this transformation is happening, how you're doing it, how that process happens. So to enable this process effectively, as I said earlier, these are the clusters which are defined based on whatever, it could be village, it could be whatever is the convenient way, but then these are defined locally by the people. Now, when these clusters are defined, there are 3 terms which are used in JIVA program regularly. One is external farmer resource person. So external farmer resource person is a person who is a practitioner. So RYSS team, what everyone mentioned earlier. So these are the farmers who have practiced natural farming on their field and they are experienced farmers. So these farmers are coming into JIVA area for 120 days and they support the farmers in hand, but they do the hand holding from day, from zero to one complete season to see how the transformation happens, to see how the change happens. So this is external farmer resource person. These are the farmers from APCNF program, Andhra Pradesh, where they have they're already practitioner farmers. They go to the different locations and then train the farmer through the journey. Instead of people going from outside and then just giving the presentations and showing kaise karna hai. These are the people, these are the farmers who actually support handhold throughout the season. Then lead farmers are the farmers who has shown interest, who want to practice, who want to do, but are not sure how to go about it. So these are the farmers who are there from the local locations only, and they have shown interest in doing it. So their journey starts from somewhere around this, and then they have set for the journey of transformation. And then in 1 year time, in the duration of 1 year, this internal farmer resource person is generated. These are the lead farmers which get converted into internal farmer resource person who has practiced minimum for 2 seasons and is convinced that this is working in whatever way it has worked for him, whatever objective he has kept in front of it. So EFRP is an external farmer hand holding for 120 days approximately in that location, developing this lead farmer to transform into internal farmer resource person. And the circles, what you see in the clusters. So these are the, let's say, internal farmer resource persons in bringing, influencing 5 to 10 new farmers by sharing his or her experience. And this farmer then in turn moving out and sharing their experiences by trying out with the other farmers. So slowly, if you see, if this happens in each of this cluster, the farmer-led extension of the natural farming will happen through this process. So that is how it is envisaged in the complete program. So this transformation, what we are seeing, it is through this mechanism, we will be seeing this green dot, one internal farmer resource person transforming the information to other farmers. This farmer then subsequently trying, testing, getting convinced, and then spreading the information to other farmers. So this type of, and this is in each cluster, this process will happen. So that is how towards the, I have exceeded the time, but this is from my part. Thank you.
Thank you, Prachi ji, for this excellent presentation on elaboration of landscape-based planning processes and how it is helping farmers for the agroecological transitioning process. And you have also covered farmer-led extension, basically approach in JIVA program. So thank you very much, Prachi ji, for this. For the a lot of technical information in these presentations. I can understand participants are from different background and different experiences, and maybe on certain topics they need further elaboration and further discussions and further basically elaborations. So in this regard, if participant feel that for certain topics they want further elaboration or they want such specific webinar on focused topics, so maybe they can highlight those topics in the chat box. Now another key stakeholder for JIVA program is the implementing agency who implements project on in ground. So in this regard, we have Dr. Satish Kumar. He's program manager in WASSAN. So WASSAN is basically doing a dual role in JIVA. On one hand, WASSAN is a resource support agency, which is basically doing capacity building support for different stakeholders. And WASSAN is also an implementing agency. In Telangana, they are implementing one JIVA project. So now Dr. Satish is with us. Dr. Satish Kumar is an experienced professional. He steered several multi-state natural resource management and natural farming projects. Currently, he is working with WASSAN as program manager. I request Dr. Satish Kumar to share his field experiences implementing JIVA project and any impact if they are observing in ground. Over to you, Satish ji.
Thank you, Deepak ji. So, sir, namaste, sir, Bhavan sir. Share చేస్తాను. PPT.
Considering the time, it is 11:40, so we need
Very
to
fast, very
extend.
quickly.
Yeah, no issues, Satish ji. I'm just telling participant and the organizer that we need to extend the time maybe for next 15-20 minutes. So say 12:15 till 12:30. So I think it should be okay with the participant. Yes,
Yeah.
Satish ji, over to you.
Okay. सभी को नमस्कार. So already भवानी सर इसके कॉन्टेक्स्ट के बारे में, फ्रेमवर्क के बारे में जीवा का एक्सप्लेन किया था, and my colleague also explained in detail about planning process. So just I'm going to share about only field related experiences only, because planning already cover हुआ है. And then Malayagudam JIVA is the only one project is implementing in Telangana state. So Malayagudam JIVA जो select किया था उसके पहले actually first during 2009 to 2015 NABARD supported WDF watershed project implement किया था वहाँ पे. Then during that implementation of watershed, the major focus was on soil and water conservation. So let's focus first on this production system. So and another thing is Malayagudam select क्यों किया है इसी में अपना वहाँ पे most of the community belongs to tribal area, and 95% of the community belongs to tribal. And another is a high dosage application of chemical and इसका fertilizers है, मतलब pesticides. तो वहाँ पे ज़्यादा ये फोकस कर रहे हैं. सो एंड क्रॉप मोनोक्रॉपिंग सिस्टम भी ज़्यादा है. देन वहाँ पे हमने प्लानिंग को ऑलरेडी अभी अपना हमारे कॉलेज जो प्रोजेक्ट स्कीम किया था, जो दिस वाटरशेड एरिया डिवाइडेड इनटू 7 क्लस्टर्स. सो इसमें क्रॉपिंग बेसिस में एंड अपना इनका लैंड टाइपोलॉजी एंड इसका जो एक्सेसिबल होगा इसी बेसिस में शेयर सैंक्शन होता है इसी प्रोजेक्ट. देन वी स्टार्टेड विद द 43 फर्स्ट इनिशियली स्टार्टेड विद द 41 फार्मर्स इन लर्निंग फेज. सो इसमें हमारा क्या क्या इंटरमीडिएट्स हमने इम्प्लीमेंट किया था, नेक्स्ट मैं एक्सप्लेन करूंगा. इसमें अभी अपस्किलिंग फेज में आ गए हम. नाउ वी आर प्लानिंग इन द अपस्किलिंग फेज कंप्लीट होने तक वी आर प्लानिंग टू अचीव 720 एकर्स का हमने टारगेट किया है. एटलीस्ट 360 फार्मर्स का नेचुरल फार्मिंग प्रैक्टिस से अडॉप्ट करना है इस विलेज में. सो फर्स्ट हमने कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग, सर ऑलरेडी भवानी सर भी बोला था, फर्स्ट कंपोनेंट वाज द फार्मर लेड एक्सटेंशन एंड कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग का ही हम आंध्र प्रदेश में जो
Satish ji,
ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो इम्प्लीमेंट कर रहा था, एंड वासन का भी
Satish
कुछ
ji,
एरिया है हमारा
sorry,
नेचुरल फार्मिंग प्रैक्टिसेस कैसे कर रहे हैं वहाँ पे डीआरसी एस्टैब्लिशमेंट सिस्टम पे. सॉरी
Satish ji, your voice is
या
breaking.
नहीं आ
Maybe
रहा
you
है.
can switch off your camera so that you can get the
सॉरी,
bandwidth.
अभी ठीक है या अभी आवाज नहीं आ रही?
हाँ, अभी ठीक है, अभी ठीक है.
दीपक जी अभी आ रहे हैं? अभी
हाँ, अभी ठीक
सॉरी,
है.
इनिशियली जो ठीक है, अभी का नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम है. सॉरी प्लीज. हम हमारे इनिशियली जो स्टार्ट किए हमने इनिशियली विद फॉर्मल एक्सटेंशन किया ना, कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग से हमने जीवा प्रोजेक्ट क्या है, मतलब उसी में हमारा ऑब्जेक्टिव्स क्या है, उसको कैसे अचीव करना है. हमारा उसमें कमिटी का रोल क्या रहेगा, फार्मर्स का, लीड फार्मर का, IFRP का, एंड वासन का रोल क्या रहेगा, उसका कुछ एक्सप्लेन किया था. बाद में हमने एक्सपोजर विजिट भी किया है. देन सेकेंड इज हमारा जो कंपोनेंट राइस अपना, इसमें हमने PMDS इंट्रोड्यूस किया था, प्री मानसून राइस. मतलब इनका जून सेकेंड वीक में, जून फर्स्ट वीक में इनका यहाँ पे बिफोर मेन क्रॉप ये मिक्स ऑफ, इसमें PMDS में सीड्स मिक्स होता है 18 टाइप ऑफ वेराइटीज. उसमें पल्सेस, ऑयल सीड्स, मिलेट्स, वेजिटेबल्स, सन्नम, एटसेट्रा. सो वो ब्रॉडकास्टिंग करने के बाद उसी में आफ्टर 40 to 45 डेज अपना इंकॉर्पोरेट करेगा उसमें सॉइल में। तो एडवांटेजेस मतलब हमारा उसी में जितना जो बारिश होता है, टेक्निकल रिपोर्ट दिया 80 सीमेंट का, अराउंड 250 क्यूबिक ऑफ वाटर होल्ड करेगा उसी में पर एकड़ का। देन अनदर थिंग इज अपना पीएम बेस्ड में अंदर एडवांटेज है उसमें अपना लीफी वेजिटेबल जो भी है उनका घर के लिए भी कुछ यूज करते हैं हम लोग फार्मर्स। एंड अनदर थिंग यहाँ पे मल्चिंग करने में ऑर्गेनिक कार्बन कुछ इंक्रीज होगा एंड वाटर रिटेंशन भी इंक्रीज होगा। देन ये प्रैक्टिस हमने शुरू किया था इनिशियली। सो इसी का हमने लास्ट ईयर ये सॉरी रिसेंटली हमने असेस भी किया था, उसी में बायोमास कितना जनरेट हुआ है। सो एक एक जगह में एक एक मुझे sorry, okay, हाँ, इसी में फील्ड ट्रायल्स फील्ड रनिंग में भी हमने किया था, उसमें 3 फार्मर्स का जगह में मतलब 3 लोकेशंस में एक फार्मर के साथ 4.3 टन आया था वहाँ पे बायोमास प्रोडक्शन पर एकड़ का, और अनदर फार्मर 10.8 टन एंड 7.68 टन। जो इसी का क्रॉप कटिंग एक्सरसाइज करता है, इसको 5 into 5 स्क्वायर मीटर एरिया में कितना हमारा यील्ड आया था उसी का हमने मेजर करके फार्मर्स को भी बुला के वहाँ पे इनको एक्सप्लेन कर रहा था, मतलब इतना अगर बायोमास प्रोडक्शन हुई तो हमको एडवांटेज क्या होगा और मतलब इसका अंतर भी क्यों हो रहा है, वो हमने एक्सप्लेन किया था उधर। इसके बाद अपना पैडी का भी है हमारा देसी पैडी का। वहाँ पे एक्चुअली फार्मिंग प्रैक्टिस में पैडी मेजरली ये केमिकल के अंदर ही है वहाँ पे, एंड हाइब्रिड वेराइटीज यूज कर रहे हैं। देन ड्यूरिंग द प्लानिंग प्रोसेस हमने डिस्कस किया कि देसी पैडी का इंपॉर्टेंस क्या है, उसको कैसे रिवाइव करेंगे। सो कुछ फॉर्मेट्स आगे आए थे। देन उसी में हमने पहले गणजी अमृत कैसे अप्लाई करना है उसी खेती में अपना प्रिपेयर करके दो कुछ मेथड्स भी वहाँ पर डेमोन्स्ट्रेट किया था। देन हमारा बीज अमृत का भी मतलब बिफोर इसी का सीड का मतलब ये ट्रांस सॉरी नर्सरी में डालने से पहले हमने बीजामृत का कुछ प्रिपेयर किया था। ये अपना फॉर्म वासन का टीम मेंबर एक्सप्लेन कर रहा था। देन इसमें नर्सरी होने के बाद रेडी होने के बाद देन इसी का ट्रांसप्लांटेशन का टाइम में भी अगेन बीजामृत किया था उनको, इसका एडवांटेज क्या है फिर भी हमने एक्सप्लेन किया। देन द्रवजी अमृत अप्लाई करने का 2 मेथड्स है, वन इज सो उसका स्प्रेयर मेथड एक है, अनदर इज उसको फार्मर्स ने हमको सजेशन दिया है कि ये हम कैरी करके उधर खेती में लेके जाना है एंड देन वहां पे स्प्रे करने में एवरी 20 लीटर्स होने के बाद फिर वापस आना है। थोड़ा लेबरस वर्क हो रहा है, उसी का तो सोल्यूशन हम निकाला है। ट्रैक्टर माउंटेड का स्प्रे डाला है, वो 500 लीटर्स का उसमें द्रवजी अमृत डालने के बाद विद इन हाफ एन आवर में उसका एरिया कवर हो जाएगा। देन इसी का अगर करें तो देन वी आर चार्जिंग 5 रुपीज लीटर पर द्रवजी अमृत, एंड अगर उन्होंने खरीद करे तो 3 रुपीज पर लीटर। एंड दोज हु आर मतलब उसका हाउ यूरिन अवेलेबल है एंड इज एबल टू मतलब उसको प्रिपेयर कर सकते हैं, देन उनका भी फॉर्म में भी हम सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। दो 2 मेथड्स, एक तो हम मार्केट में हमारा बीआरसी का तरफ से भी दे रहे हैं, दूसरा उनको कैपेसिटी मतलब नॉलेज देकर उनको खुद बनाने के लिए भी दे रहे हैं। देन ब्लॉक राइस फर्स्ट टाइम इंट्रोड्यूस किया था उसी एरिया में भी, बर्मा ब्लैक वेराइटी। देन क्रॉप कटिंग एक्सपेरिमेंट भी किया था उसी को, क्योंकि फार्मर को जानकारी होना है। नॉर्मली नेचुरल फार्मिंग मेथड में इमीडिएटली जितना जो केमिकल यूज आता है उतना yield तो नहीं आ रहा है एज पर अवर प्रैक्टिस फॉर द लास्ट 1.5 year। सो उसी का भी उन लोगों को फार्मर फील्ड डे करते हैं हमने, फील्ड डे में उनको कुछ फार्मर्स को बुला के भी 5 into 5 साइज में हमारे कितना वेट आ रहा है, मतलब कितना केजेस अभी इसमें आएगा, कितना क्विंटल्स का yield आएगा। सो हमने रिसेंटली भी एक क्रॉप कटिंग एक्सरसाइज किया था फार्मर्स के साथ, वहाँ पे हमारा कितना टिलर्स है और वेट कितना आता है वो हमको उनको दिखाया। देन कुछ तो यील्ड तो कम आ रहे हैं कंपेयरिंग विद द केमिकल फार्मिंग। सो इसी को हमने क्या किया था, जो सेम फार्मर का 1 एकड़ में जो केमिकल फार्मिंग है, 1 एकड़ में अपना नेचुरल फार्मिंग का है, उसी में प्राइस का भी हमने ऐसा डिसाइड किया विद आफ्टर डिस्कसिंग विद द फार्मर्स एंड अपना कंपनी मेंबर। देन केमिकल यील्ड अगर सपोज 10 क्विंटल्स अगर यील्ड आता है उधर, 10 क्विंटल्स का गवर्नमेंट का एमएसपी प्राइस कितना है, अगर 2300 पर क्विंटल इन तेलंगाना में, देन 23,000 आ जाएगा। अगर हमारा एनएफ का प्रोड्यूस अगर 7-8 क्विंटल्स आ गया है, देन द सेम क्विंटल्स डिवाइडेड बाय द केमिकल का जितना आता है, उसी बेसिस में हमने प्राइस फाइनल किया था 3100 का। सो उनका जितना जो प्रोड्यूस आया तो ऑलरेडी उन लोग सोल्ड किया है, मोस्ट ऑफ देम यूजिंग फॉर द कंजम्पशन, एंड बाकी जो बच गया मार्केट में भी है भेजे हैं। एंड ब्लॉकग्राम का भी कुछ एक्सपेरिमेंट किया था, ब्लॉकग्राम में भी अभी अपना एक पार्टिसिपेंट भी क्वेश्चन पूछा था। एक्चुअली केमिकल फार्मिंग में 3 क्विंटल सील आया था ब्लॉकग्राम में, and in natural farming method में इनका 2 क्विंटल सी आया था, but actually whereas comparing with the chemical input का cost तो 8,900 spend किया था, but whereas nature of farming का input का तो 15 है, this is the difference है, मतलब income तो almost equivalent आया, so मतलब yield में देखे तो फर्क है, but input में थोड़ा कम है. एंड पॉलीक्रॉप मेथड भी दिस इज द फर्स्ट टाइम इंट्रोड्यूस किया हमारा उधर कॉटन एंड ग्राउंडनट में भी. मेजरली कॉटन इज द सोलो क्रॉप उधर एंड ग्राउंडनट इज आल्सो सोलो क्रॉप. वहाँ पे एटलीस्ट हमारा घर के लिए यूज करने के लिए पल्सेस एंड वेजिटेबल्स का भी करेंगे. एंड अपना डाइवर्सिफिकेशन बोले ना, क्रॉप डाइवर्सिफिकेशन, इसके बारे में करने के लिए हमने कुछ कोशिश किया था कुछ किसान के साथ. सो इसी में कॉटन में हमारा कॉपी एंड ब्लॉक ग्राम, ग्रीन ग्राम एंड रेड ग्राम एंड सराउंडिंग्स में ये इतना कैस्टर डाला है एंड जोवर भी. सो मतलब इन्हीं का नेचुरल फार्मिंग का खेत ऑफ कॉटन एंड द केमिकल फार्मिंग कॉटन का डेज भी देखा था हमने. लॉस्ट यील्ड एक्चुअली इनका नेचुरल फार्मिंग मेथड में अराउंड मार्च एंडिंग तक आया था उनका यील्ड कंपेयरिंग विद द केमिकल फार्मिंग. केमिकल का तो जनवरी एंडिंग में उनका यील्ड खत्म हुआ है. देन ये 2 महीने तक थोड़ा माइचर है एंड लास्ट यील्ड आल्सो 60 kg ही गॉट. देन हमारा इसमें ग्राउंडनट में भी पॉलीक्रॉप मेथड इंट्रोड्यूस किया था उधर भी. सो विद एज पार्ट ऑफ डेमोन्स्ट्रेशंस में कुछ. देन इको फॉर्म फंड इंट्रोड्यूस किया था. वहाँ पे इको फॉर्म फंड मतलब इसको फॉर्म फंड नहीं, फॉर्म फंड का बगल में जो सराउंडिंग स्पेसेस बर्म्स है, बर्म्स में भी वेजिटेबल ग्रो कर सकता है. सराउंडिंग में अपना फ्रूट बेरिंग प्लांट्स एंड इसमें फिशरीज सब चीज सर करके इनको एक 2 फार्मर के साथ हमने डेमोन्स्ट्रेट किया था. उसी में एक फार्मर का लास्ट ईयर उन्होंने ओनली मछली से 9,700 रुपीज इनकम आया था उनका. एंड रिमेनिंग उनका वेजिटेबल्स का भी है एंड फूड बेरिंग प्लांट्स अभी बढ़ रहे हैं. सो और आफ्टर अनदर 1 ईयर के बाद और थोड़ा ये मतलब यहाँ पे इनकम जनरेशन फूड बेरिंग प्लांट से भी आ जाएगा. एंड ये न्यूट्रिशन गवर्नेंस है, हाउस होल्ड न्यूट्रिशन गवर्नेंस is also promoted with the 41 farmers. So वहाँ पे कुछ EFRPs भी हमको सपोर्ट कर रहा था, ROSS एंड GIZ जो डिप्लाई किया था उसी में EFRPs एंड आवर FRP एंड आवर टीम मेंबर्स. तो वहाँ पे डिफरेंट मॉडल्स भी है कैच किचन गार्डन का. अभी ऑलरेडी सर भी वहाँ पे फोकस किया था, भवानी सर, वहाँ पे ATM मॉडल एंड A ग्रेड मॉडल एंड सूर्य मंडल एंड A3 मॉडल्स. तो डिफरेंट मॉडल भी हम डेमोन्स्ट्रेट किया उधर. तो दिस एक्चुअली उन लोगों को उनका घर में फ्रेश वेजिटेबल्स नॉन केमिकल का करने के लिए. एंड अनदर थिंग इज द एग्रोइकोलॉजिकल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन मॉडल ये टीम में उसी में करने के लिए पहले उनको एटलीस्ट वेजिटेबल्स में इधर करने के बाद स्लोली यूज मूव इनटू इस फॉर्म में भी चेंज करने के लिए वो भी कर रहे हैं. एंड अनदर इंटेंसिव ईयर लॉन्ग फॉर्म 2 यूनिट्स हमने डेमोन्स्ट्रेट किया था फार्मर्स को दिखाने के लिए. वहाँ पे एक फार्मर को हमने आइडेंटिफाई किया. दिस इज द गूगल अर्थ इमेज है. दिस इज एग्जैक्टली रेक्टेंगल शेप का फॉर्म है 1.5 एकड़ का. उसमें पोल्ट्री है एंड इसमें गोट गोट सॉरी डेयरी मिल्क डेयरी एनिमल्स एंड पोल्ट्री सॉरी. एंड यहाँ पे ये डायरी का पोल्ट्री का है. ये दिस एरिया इज फॉर फॉर्डर. फर्स्ट टाइम उन्होंने सुपर नेपियर का डाला था उधर फॉर्डर के लिए. एंड रिमेनिंग दिस इज फॉर ओनली बीन्स विद पेंडल्स का, ये वुडन पेंडल्स. एंड यहाँ पे अपना इनका टोमेटो ये डाल दिया है. एंड बॉर्डर ऑफ द दिस सराउंडिंग्स पूरा फ्रूट बेरिंग प्लांट्स है. एंड यहाँ पे फॉर्म पॉन्ड खोदा था, फॉर्म पॉन्ड में भी मछली डाला है एंड इसे फॉर्म बनता है. ये अपना क्या बोलेंगे गोल्ड ये भी कुछ किया था उसने. उनका फार्मर का एक्सपीरियंस है. नॉर्मली केमिकल फार्मिंग में फरवरी तक यील्ड मिलता था, बट एक्चुअली इनका नवंबर दिसंबर तक भी मतलब 1 to 2 months ड्यूरेशन भी बढ़ गया है, मतलब आफ्टर अडेप्टिंग दिस नेचुरल फार्मिंग. सो उनका यील्ड भी अच्छा रहा है. इनका प्राइस भी है 65 to 70 रुपीज में केजी बेच रहे हैं मार्केट में. एंड इसी का जो फसल होने के बाद इनका एडिशनल इधर से भी आ जाएगा, मतलब मुर्गी का पोल्ट्री बर्ड्स एंड दिस डेयरी फार्म का भी है. सो आफ्टर इसी का सुपर नेपियर डालने के बाद उनका एक्सपीरियंस है यहाँ पे उनका मिल्क में थोड़ा फैट परसेंटेज एंड यील्ड इज आल्सो इंक्रीज. फार्मर का परसेप्शन है. उन्होंने कुछ वीडियोस भी बना के अपना ग्रुप में भी दूसरे फार्मर्स को शेयर करने के लिए एंकरेज कर रहे हैं. शी इज आल्सो वन ऑफ द लीड फार्मर सरन कांतम्मा. And then there is a bio input research center. This is the actual center of the JIVA program. In other words,
Satish ji,
because यहाँ पे हम yes,
Satish ji, I think you
Time.
need to wrap up, please.
Sorry, please, I हो गया. Just only 2 slides only more, I think. Hello.
Yes, please
Hello?
go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So this is a Bio Research Center, Bio Input Research Center established with हमने 3 members का एक Bio Research ग्रुप बनाया था, उसमें NABARD का सपोर्ट से एंड कम्युनिटी का सॉरी ग्रुप मेंबर्स का कंट्रीब्यूशन से BRC स्टैब्लिश किया था, विच इज द सोलर ऑपरेटेड ड्रोजियम यूनिट। मतलब वहाँ पे 14 प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, अराउंड 1.6 लाख का बिजनेस भी उन्होंने किया है। एंड ऑर्चर्ड में भी कुछ हमने डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन किया था, पेपर एंड पाइनएप्पल एंड अर्कानट। सो पहले ओनली ऑयल पम्प में ओनली ऑयल पम्प चाहिए, तो जो वेस्टेज है बीच में इसको साइड्स में ये भी प्रॉपर्टीज किया था। एंड देसी काऊ यूरिन का भी अभी पहले उन लोग को इतना प्रायोरिटी नहीं दे रहा था, नेचुरल फार्मिंग का इंट्रोड्यूस करने के बाद, जीवा प्रोजेक्ट प्रोग्राम चालू करने के बाद इनिशियली 5 रुपीज में बेच रहा था उन लोग मैनुअली, बाद में काऊ यूरिन शेड भी बनाया था। नाउ दे आर सेलिंग 10 रुपीज पर लीटर। So nearest our oasis का farmers भी है, because this village is very close to Andhra and Telangana border. This is local circular economy सर भी इसके पहले भी बोला था अपना कोलिग आल्सो, बट दिस हमने ये अपना कोऑपरेटिव का एफपीओ का जमीन है, एफपीओ का जमीन हमने खरीद किया था, उसमें एंटरप्राइज कुछ ऑलरेडी एस्टेब्लिश किया था, अभी कर रहे हैं। बीआरसी ऑलरेडी एस्टेब्लिश दिस यूनिट एंड नर्सरी का भी है इसमें, एंड देन हनी बी का भी ऑयल पंप्स में, मिलेट बिस्किट यूनिट भी है उधर। सो मतलब इसी का लोकल सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी के अंदर जितना जो लोकल में वहाँ पे इनपुट सेंटर भी हम यहाँ से जाएंगे, बाय इनपुट यहाँ पे प्रिपेयर करेंगे, एंड यहाँ पे अभी मिल्स भी कंस्ट्रक्शन हो रहा, ये दिस इज द अंडर कंस्ट्रक्शन। यहाँ पे अपना दाल मिल एंड ऑयल मिल एंड इसका आटा का पल्वराइजर एंड सभी गाँव में जो भी अवेलेबल है, मतलब उसको प्रोसेसिंग का यहाँ पे हम कर रहे हैं। एंड ऑलरेडी इधर इनपुट है और सीड बैंक भी आए हैं और ये प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट है। देन इसके साथ हमारा वैल्यूएडेड प्रोडक्ट्स का बनाना भी कुछ फसल होता है, क्रॉप होता है उधर, बनाना फाइबर एक्सट्रैक्शन का भी कुछ और एक यूनिट भी डालना है। सो इसी में रिसेंटली हमारा एमएलए आल्सो, मतलब उनको भी इंटरेस्ट आया था जियो फार्मर्स का, उन्होंने खुद जमीन में करने के लिए भी उन्होंने आगे फील्ड में आके फार्मर से इंटरेक्ट किया था। एंड कलेक्टर सर आल्सो एंड एसपी सर आल्सो विजिटेड आवर बीआरसी एंड एग्रीकल्चर मिनिस्टर, एंड पीओ आईटी आल्सो रिसेंटली विजिटेड। तो देन वो भी सजेशन दिया है गवर्नमेंट के साथ हमारा आईटी की तरफ से क्यों मदद देना है, वी विल आल्सो सपोर्ट द जियो प्रोजेक्ट। एंड our rural mart is also there, NABARD supported rural mart in our mandal headquarter. So जितना जो प्रोड्यूस आता है and remaining also collecting from the SHGs, and यहाँ पे आउटलेट भी है हमारा, तो सपोर्टेड बाय द NABARD। एंड विलेज केयर यूनिट भी लास्ट अक्टूबर में विजिट किया था, विलेज केयर टीम से डॉक्यूमेंट भी किया था वहाँ पे आके। एंड बीएससी एग्रीकल्चर कॉलेज एक नजदीक है, वहाँ से स्टूडेंट्स है को दे आर विजिटिंग। एंड फिल्म मेकिंग का वॉलंटियर्स भी सपोर्टेड बाय जीआईजेड, दैट विलेज केयर का, एंड इसका भी दृष्टि जीआईजेड सपोर्ट की तरफ से हमको वहाँ पे विलेज यूथ को एंड अवर लीड फार्मर्स को भी आइडेंटिफाई करके मोबाइल से कैसे अच्छा डॉक्यूमेंट कर सकते हैं, क्वालिटी ऑफ फोटोग्राफ्स एंड एट द सेम टाइम स्मॉल वीडियोस, वहाँ 1-2 मिनट का कैसे करना है, एडिट कैसे करना है, वो भी 2 बैचेस में हमने इनको ऑर्गेनाइज किया था, ट्रेनिंग किया। उन लोग भी 4 डॉक्यूमेंट्स भी किया था जी के साथ है। एंड बस थैंक यू सर दीपक जी।
Thank you, Satish ji, for sharing field experiences of your JIVA project. And through pictures, you presented the entire story, and I think it is easy to understand for all of us. I specifically like the evidences that you are collecting from field through crop cutting experiments. That is, I think, a remarkable work. So thank you very much, Satish ji. I think we need to organize a few more such workshop focusing on a specific topic, like maybe how to collect evidences, or maybe someone in chat mentioned about market linkages. So such kind of focused webinar can be organized if participant like such kind of approach. So thank you very much. So moving forward, I would now invite Miss Aishwarya Mohanty to share her experience about natural farming, and she also visited one of the JIVA program. Aishwarya Mohanty is an independent journalist reporting on often overlapping themes of gender, environment, and social justice. Currently, she has partnered with her husband to run Roots to Root natural farms on the principle of permaculture and regenerative agriculture. She recently visited JIVA project and documented a beautiful farmer story. So over to you, Aishwarya ji.
Thank you, Dr. Deepak. Thank you, Village Square, for this opportunity. Well, so yes, I do not have a PPT. I do not have those beautiful photographs with me because the story is yet to be published, hopefully next week. And we would love to share that with everyone. But I can talk about how I approached this story. I can talk about what changed for me when I went to the ground. And I can talk about the challenges that we experienced while covering natural farming. So I have an intersection, of course, like Dr. Deepak mentioned. I am, for the past 1 year, I've also been living on a farm. I'm currently joining the session from my farm, and we've been practicing permaculture and agroecology here. So we also understand the nuances of it. I think it was in July, August, I traveled to Devas to cover the JIVA project there. And that project is being implemented by Samaj Pragati Sahyog in the district. And so it's just been a year. So there hasn't been a lot of changes. A lot of it is still underway. A lot of projects are still being undertaken. But the very start of it is what we could observe there and how that has changed for the farmers there. So I visited a village called Magrade, which has been drought prone for a long, long time now. And there was a lot of migration that was happening. A lot of people were migrating out for work, seasonal, they were migrating out for longer periods of days. But what they could encash on was, what they could tap on was better water resource management. So, very close to the village, they have built check dams. And because of the check dam, they've been able to harvest the rainwater that usually would flow out because it's a hilly terrain, basically. So these people in the village, because now they had water and they could think of cropping patterns, they could think of the kind of crops they could grow. So instead of just sticking to one crop or just two crops, which happens in a lot of states, the entire issue of monocropping, which is detrimental to your soil, which is detrimental to your crop health, to yields and everything. This village particularly has started mixed cropping, has started intercropping, and has adapted to the entire idea of having a 365 days of natural cover. So basically, in NF or in agroecology, the idea is to have a natural cover for most part of the year rather than just depending on rain-fed agriculture. So here, specifically in Devas, in Magrade, they are now adopting to it. So it might not be entirely 365 days, but yes, for most parts of the year. So when you do that, they have been cultivating a lot of vegetables now. And through that, what has changed for them is now women take care of the farm. Men migrate, yes, but they migrate daily in the morning. They with the harvest of the vegetables, and then they come back in the evening. So they sell their own vegetables instead of depending on working elsewhere with somebody else at, say, construction sites or something. They have their own harvest. They know they decide their own prices at what they'll be sharing it, at what they'll be selling it, and they go to the nearest cities, mostly Indore, and they sell their produce there and they come back. So that has changed for them. As journalists, we have to look at a lot of things. So we also look at not just what is above the ground, that is the crop. We also look at what is beneath it. So there are queries around soil health. So these people were telling me about how their soil had become very hard and it was very difficult to grow anything even with proper irrigation. But now, because they've been growing a lot of crops throughout the year, the soil has softened. So it's easier for them to change the crops and to decide what kind of crops they want to grow. There was another village which I visited. There, people have revived red gram, which is tur dal. So it was an indigenous crop that they used to grow many, many years ago. But then there was high yielding variety of cotton that came in, and a lot of people started growing cotton. Now, cotton is considered to be one of the most water intensive crops in India also, and which has been an issue in other states as well. So here now they are slowly switching back to red gram, and the red gram is an excellent nitrogen fixer as well. So that is helping them reduce the amount of fertilizers and chemicals and pesticides that they use also. So my learnings from there was that it is not just about reducing chemical inputs, like the other presentations were, like Prachi ji also mentioned about the entire landscape, about the integrations that you bring in, right? So those were my learnings from there. The choice of crops that you can grow, how you can grow, when you can grow it. Then as a journalist, it's also important to look at the challenges that happens. And one thing that I realized with natural farming and agroecology was that it's very important to incentivize the process instead of incentivizing a crop. So if you incentivize, say, bio input resource centers, if you incentivize, say, having livestock at the farm, say, having poultry at the farm, if you incentivize these kind of integrations, it becomes helpful for the farmers. I was just going through all the questions also, and the very important question, somebody talking about how there's an issue with yields in the very initial years, and how do you motivate farmers who've been getting the kind of returns they get with chemical farming. I was in Punjab, and they told me that every time the yields go down, the answer is to use more fertilizers. But nobody is actually thinking about what is happening to soil health and how eventually in the longer run, probably your land will become infertile to take in any kind of fertilizer you keep adding, right? So the answer to add nitrogen to your soil probably is to grow more nitrogen fixing crops rather than adding more urea to your soil, right? So these are the kind of inputs and insights that I could also get from the ground. So it's been a wonderful journey covering these stories, and I hope to cover even more of these in the coming future. Thank you.
Thank you, Aishwarya ji, for sharing your insightful experiences with regards to JIVA project. And normally what happened with our, basically I'm from development background. So normally what happens is that when we are part of that particular project, we try to exaggerate our experiences or project achievement. So you are basically completely different, coming from different background. You are not directly associated with JIVA program. And it is interesting to basically hear from you that some positive trends are there with regards to the project, and farmers are getting benefit of this project. So thank you very much, Aishwarya ji. So now with this presentation, we are coming to the end of this expert deliberations. Now it is time for taking questions. So I think we have received some good number of questions, but due to time constraint, we will be able to take maybe 5-6 questions if you want to close the session by 12:30. So maybe 5, 6, or 7 questions we can take up. So I'll request Srishti ji and Subhuhi ji to basically facilitate this question and answer session. And I believe NABARD officers are also here, Dr. Ravi Babu and CGM sir. So they can also basically take up some questions and respond to those questions. So Ravi Babu sir, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. I'm there.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. So Subhuhi and Srishti ji, over to you.
Right. Thanks a lot, Deepak. All the sessions were super interesting. And I can see so much participants' engagement, so that's really, really good to see. I'll just start with the first question. How can agroecology balance the need for sustainable food production, environmental conservation, and social equity in the face of global climate change? This question is from Rushi Vaje from Nashik, Maharashtra.
Yeah, shall I answer?
Who would like to take this?
Yes, sir. Please.
I'll take the answer. I mean,
Yes, sir, please.
Answer. Now, if you look at the scenario of India, I mean, in the forefront of climate risks are the rain-fed and tribal areas. So they are the highly vulnerable areas where lives and livelihoods are dependent on agriculture and allied activities. Therefore, we need such type of cropping system which takes care of the ill effects of climate change, at the same time meets the food requirement as also the economic requirements of the households. So we have devised such a program, that is agroecology program. We are naming it as JIVA, to make the soil as the living entity, with the basic philosophy that if the soil is healthy, it will lead to healthy crops. Healthy crops could withstand the climate change. At the same time, the healthy crops will lead to healthy human beings and animals who consume it. That is the basic philosophy. Now, regarding addressing the climate change is concerned, rain-fed areas, as I just mentioned, the average productivity now itself is 1 ton per hectare. With the kind of climate change projections that are coming out, unless we act with a holistic approach, monocropping, chemical intensive, water intensive cropping with high power subsidies, how many years agriculture is going to continue, especially in the rainfed areas. Now the over-exploitation of groundwater, what is the carbon footprint? What is the water footprint? What is the electricity consumption? And what is the loss in the biodiversity? How much fertilizer input is going on? We made an estimate that 10,000 to 15,000 rupees per hectare is going for chemicals. Therefore, in the light of all these things, we came out with the JIVA, which takes care of natural cropping systems. It is not monocrop, it is cropping system. Therefore, holistic integrated farming system with natural farming as the cardinal principle has been brought out. Now we are trying out different cropping systems in different agroecological zones. First, we want to do pilots, create evidence, and subject them to scientific scrutiny. You have seen how Ms. Prachi, the scientific kind of planning has been adopted. Dr. Satish, he has explained about crop cutting experiments also, which they are doing in the project areas. We have an agroecology portal where the baseline data is captured. Now, over a period of time, we are going to establish ecological benefits, economic benefits, and the social benefits that are going to accrue over a period of time. So we strongly believe that for the highly vulnerable rainfed areas which are in the forefront of facing the brunt of climate change, this is the unique system where ICR's integrated farming system models one side, the traditional cropping systems, Navadanya, Andhra Pradesh, Pata system, Varadanya, Akkadi Salu, Karnataka, such type of cropping systems get married with natural farming as the cardinal principle. Therefore, it is going to be a potential game changer, especially in the vulnerable areas. As far as crop yield comparison is concerned, let us understand one thing. We need to scientifically prove, we need to adopt a complete package of practices. We cannot compare a cropping system with monocrop crop yield. Say if cotton is grown in one area, but I have adopted natural farming. Natural farming does not restrict us to only looking at Bijamrut, Jivamrut, Vapsa, mulching. It goes beyond these four basic principles. It is the cropping system which takes care of interconnectedness. We have to integrate trees and livestock also. It is cereals, pulses, oil seeds, vegetables, fruits, all are integrated in. Particularly, this is going to be highly viable solution for small and marginal farmers who constitute 85% of our total farmers. And marginal farmers, 68% of the farmers are marginal farmers. If we adopt green revolution packages in the rainfed areas, water intensive, chemical intensive ones, economically it is going to be a disaster. Even in Punjab and Haryana, going by our estimations, if they continue to have paddy wheat cropping system without caring for agroecology. Agroecology means agriculture should be in line with the given ecological zone. If you are in a semi-arid region, you are not supposed to grow sugarcane, you are not supposed to grow paddy. If you are going against ecology, automatically agriculture will be under threat. So as far as crop yields are concerned, we are in the preliminary stage. We cannot comment, but at the same time, what I want to say that we are going to adopt a complete package of practices. Without adapting, and the benefits you have to quantify. What is that biodiversity benefit we are getting? What are those ecosystem services we are going to get benefit? What is that chemical footprint? As a result, chemical dosage, as also the cost of chemicals is reduced. You have to factor in all these things. And climate resilience. Can we quantify all these things? Unless you quantify and monetize, we cannot simply say 2 ton per hectare I got under monocropping with chemical intensive one and a complete package. If you are not adopting pre-monsoon dry sowing, Rabi dry sowing, we cannot increase the organic matter content in the soil. Therefore, we should be very careful in propagating this one. That's why we are doing pilots, establishing evidence to scale up across the agroecological zones. I think I have given a broad answer answering these two, climate resilience and crop yields. Yes.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dr. Ravi Babu sir, for that really detailed answer. I hope the participant also is satisfied with the answer. I'll go with the next question. This is from RYSS Pagidi Ravi. He's asking, while government wants to scale up natural farming, It is not taking action to reduce the usage of fertilizer by reducing subsidy. If they do not take any action to reduce the usage of fertilizers, how can it contribute for the scaling up of natural farming?
Yeah, fantastic question. See, there are two types of, there are two schools of thought. One is that if you scale up across the country, it is going to damage the food security of the country, where we have 1.4 billion population is there, we cannot afford to have food insecurity. So there are concerns that if you adopt this one in a larger scale, definitely it is going to impact food security. This is the concern people have. If you look at our plan, we are only into rain-fed, highly vulnerable tribal areas. Now, the question is why government is giving fertilizer subsidy. If you look at the 2 years back scenario, it is 2.25 lakh crore per year. It has now come down to 1.75 lakh crore. Over a period of time, gradually, the subsidies are going to be curtailed by promoting the locally adaptable. Agroecology does not mean that only natural farming is the solution. There are many practices, and natural farming is one of those practices. Therefore, slowly they are building the evidences. They, gradually they will be moving further. And we need to understand one thing: PM Pranam, one new initiative has come, where the states will be compensated if the fertilizer consumption is reduced. Whatever reduction is there, say a state is consuming 100 kg per hectare. If it is coming down to 50 kg per hectare, they will be given economic incentive by the government of India under PM Pranam scheme. Simultaneously, they are working on two directions by incentivizing the farmers. If you look at Himachal Pradesh government, very proactively, they have given additional MSP for the farmers who are practicing natural farming. So unless we incentivize the farmers who practice and who produce the safe food, ultimately scaling up will be a difficult scenario for them. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you. The third question is coming from Subrata Sarkar, West Bengal. The question is there any scope for convergence between JIVA and Paramparagata Krishi Vikas Yojana?
Good question. See, Paramparagata Krishi Vikas Yojana is the umbrella program of Government of India to support organic farming, Bharatiya Prakrutik Krishi Padhati, now natural mission on natural farming. All these things are coming out. Umbrella is Prime Minister Paramparagata Krishi Vikas Yojana, PMKY. Now, as far as JIVA is concerned, we are implementing on pilot basis. We look forward for convergence. In fact, Government of India has called us for a meeting also last year to establish convergence. Now they are working out the modalities. Perhaps we are going to take up some of the clusters also going forward. It is in the discussion stage only. So we see a better picture. In fact, very recently Niti Aayog has written to us for collaborative work. Minister of Agriculture has also approached us. In fact, Minister of Agriculture, Government of India has asked us to promote NF-based FPOs, natural farming-based FPOs. So we can say that work is in progress. The convergence initiatives will definitely help to create high impact.
Thanks. Thank you, sir. Our next question is from Hesnam Bipna, a PhD scholar from Uttarakhand. So we finally have a question from a student. The question is, as a PhD scholar in agronomy, I am curious to know the current research gaps in current agroecological and natural farming. So can you please provide some insights?
Yes, this is one area which is really very much in need. In fact, we open our projects for even for research scrutiny. We also need insights preliminarily to tell to the audience that our regional office in Chhattisgarh, they have taken the initiative. First of its kind, research study is going on. The results are yet to be coming out from the premature whatever work we are doing, that is there. But definitely, we cannot apply the framework of general research framework, wherein monocrop is there. You compare the crop yield with your control plots, where you have a number of different kinds of treatments are there. At the same time, control no treatment is given. You will be comparing the crop yields with randomized block design or CRD. That type of designs you make and compare. But in this case, you have interconnectedness is there. You are integrating livestock, and which is forgotten, livestock and trees. As also you have multi-term cropping system. So the kind of research to be done will be different from the research which we do for monocropping system. We should be very careful in finalizing the research framework, but I must admit that it is in the very preliminary stage. Whatever framework we are doing for integrated farming system, perhaps with a little bit of tweaking, can be applied to the natural farming based farm models. So that if the evidence is created, complete package of practices for a given cropping system comes out, it is going to be helpful in scaling up across the country. Yes.
I would like to, sir, add one point here regarding the research gap. If we see the publication trend in agroecology, it's the first time the word agroecology used by Benson in year 1928. But if you see the research publication on various topics, it is very less, specifically on natural farming, is specifically on conservation agriculture. Although from 1960 onwards, there are some publication around sustainable farming, organic farming, but it is in terms of when we talk about agroecology, which talks about interlinkages among various components, various activities, various stakeholders, such kind of research are very scant. So any topic if you take up, whether it is related to production science or maybe processing or marketing or policy or farmer extension system or knowledge in relation to agroecology and natural farming, that would be an innovative or novel research. You take any topic and it would become a good topic, but the rigorous methodology and proper scientific framework needs to be used. So thank you.
Thank you, Deepak. Thank you, sir. Yeah, we have a lot of questions actually, but I'll just keep it short. We'll take maybe one or two more questions. So this is from an anonymous participant. We don't have the name, but the question is interesting. Though natural farming has numerous benefits, still the initial yield is very low, and farmers are also not ready to adopt it because of various difficulties faced by them, like market availability. So, under these circumstances, what can be the way to make them aware of adopting natural farming?
I think it is a very good question and very practical question. For any farmer, without economic benefit, he will not be in a position to continue. So the farmers are also accustomed to see, they may not be quantifying in terms of tons or quintals the way we look at. They are into 20 bags or 30 bags per hectare or per acre. So if the bags count come down, they may not look at what is the reduction in the cost of cultivation, what are the additional benefits they are getting. But as we are establishing models in highly vulnerable rainfed areas, we are seeing a brighter picture in the sense, instead of periodic, episodic, seasonal returns, there will be returns throughout the year. That's why when our season was presenting, you must have seen ATM models, where you have multi-time cropping system, starting from cereals to vegetables. Definitely, you will be harvesting crops throughout the year. You have soil cover, and seeing is believing. The kind of methodology we have adopted is having lead farmers, farmer-led extension. People like us with suit boot will not go there and explain to the farmers. The model farmers they establish, and other farmers are called. They will be on daily basis. They will be observing the things. We have adopted a model where first farmer will practice. He will be promoting, propagating the benefits. If he is convinced, imagine a scenario where in the rainfed area, single crop is grown and it is subject to flood or drought kind of scenario. Whereas you have multi-tier cropping system integrated with livestock and trees. At the same time, in the backyard of the household, nutri gardens are there, multiple vegetables are grown, fruit plants are there, milch animals are there, sheep, goat are there. If that is the scenario, who will be the resilient to climate change? Who will be having economic, ecological benefits? Where biodiversity will be more? So you can easily visualize. Only we are looking at models and time to propagate. It is not that they were not there. 50 years back, they were there. Now, chemical farming has become conventional farming. Now we are reviving, especially in the vulnerable area. We are not going to irrigated areas. In those areas, with the way they are getting 5 tons per hectare or 4 tons per hectare, with natural farming, if you don't adopt a complete package, this is very vital point. complete package of practices. First of all, they are not available. What are the practices to be adopted? Without that, we cannot compare the crop yields also. This is the scenario.
Thank you, sir, for answering that really, really well. We'll maybe take one last question. That's also from an anonymous participant. Yeah, the person is asking some of the natural farming inputs being suggested, like Jeevamrit, which involves fermentation, or high cost inputs like ghee, curd, milk, are costlier and project health risk to applying the farmer. Are we using them after proven scientific results?
Yeah. So for the past 20 or 30 years onwards, slowly this is picking up. Over a period of time, it is showing very good results as far as Jeevamrit is concerned. The basic philosophy we have to understand: to stimulate the microbial activity, to stimulate early fermentation, this kind of jaggery or flour, gram flour and ghee, they are added. But there are localized alternatives also. The only thing is, the more food you provide to those bacteria, I'm not sure, Prachi and others who are in the field, they will be adding more inputs to this. But we should not assume that very costly inputs are required. We want to reduce the cost. On the other hand, what people are doing, 10,000 to 15,000 rupees now they are spending for purchasing urea, DAP and all. When you are applying pesticides, how much chemical residue farmers are exposed to? What kind of harmfulness is there with the localized kind of thing? Yes, we understand that scientifically, scientific studies are required on this, which we are lacking. Which requires definitely going forward. We need to establish the ill effects, if any. We are not sure actually. It is required to be studied in detail. Prachi and those who are in the field, they can add more.
So, sir, as you rightly said,
Prachi ji, your voice is breaking.
Just
your voice is breaking. Maybe you can switch off your camera. Yeah.
Is it fine now? Is it okay
it is
now,
fine.
Deepak ji?
Yeah, it is fine. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So see, one of the fundamental principle is this bio inputs, what has been prepared on the field are from locally available material. That is one of the things. So all this material which are locally available, they are used to prepare this concoctions and then they are applied on the field. Therefore, the cost of it when we compare with whatever products you find in the market will be less because this is solely on the locally available material. Maybe Satish sir can give the exact figures also. And I wanted to add one more point while saying this thing is, see the agroecology as a field itself is emerging. Okay, so the science around it is also emerging. So whatever we were saying, the methodology is what we're using currently to do the practice is also emerging, and it needs a lot of advancement in that also. So all this field altogether is improving along with the experiences. So this, if you want to give the exact figures of what is the costing of it, you can just mention it by.
Sir, the Jeevamrit is cost around 3 rupees per liter, and Panchagavya just will add some ghee is around 150 to 200 rupees per liter. It's not very costly.
Yeah.
So, they can afford, sir. It is not very costly.
Yes, certainly.
Thank you, Satish ji, Ms. Prachi, and yeah, Dr. Ravi Babu. So one last question, we thought we should just include this. We have a lot of students in this webinar today, and they're very curious about the career opportunities, available for agriculture graduates or people, studying agroecology. So do you want to say something on that?
Career opportunities, yes, they are emerging, starting from state governments. For example, if you look at Andhra Pradesh, they are very keen to onboard students who have completed their BS agriculture and others as the resource persons at the village level. Now, there are instances where in Telangana, At village level, they have engaged the agricultural graduates or diploma holders as extension officers. So scope is slowly emerging. As far as NABARD is concerned, we have a system where annually we announce the vacancies, and there is certain mechanism like a preliminary examination, main examination, and interview. The way Reserve Bank of India conducts the exam, that is the pattern we follow. And at the field level again, we have non-governmental organizations or civil society organizations where one can go and voluntarily work, learn, and get the expertise, and they can be absorbed at different places. So career opportunities in agroecology, definitely we see a very bright picture, both at field level as also at the execution and implementation level, as also at the policy level. Yes.
Thank you, sir. So I think that's some good students that, right, and there are plenty of opportunities. I think I hand it over to Deepak
Yeah,
now.
thank you, Subhuhi. So now, after this these interesting questions and insightful responses, we need to close this question answer session because of paucity of time. So now we have Dr. Ravi Babu sir, GM NABARD, and I would like to invite Dr. Ravi Babu sir for his closing remark. So before I invite Dr. Ravi Babu, I have not given basically a brief introduction, so I would like to introduce him. Dr. Ravi Babu is working as general manager in NABARD head office, Mumbai. He is an architect for this JIVA program. He has played an important role in designing JIVA program framework, different components, along with various knowledge partner. And currently, he is leading implementation of JIVA program from NABARD side, along with various other NRM portfolio. So over to you, Ravi Babu, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Deepak, for the very good words you have been told about me. Now, today's event, really, it is a very very interesting and inspiring kind of one, which we never thought of earlier. Generally, we implement many programs and projects at the field level, but our connection with the journalists is not that much so far, though we have separate YouTube channel and we do go for press releases, but to scale up such kind of initiatives, the way GIZ has come forward, and they have been supporting us for a long time, starting from the year 1992, where we have started Watershed Development Program. It is a long-standing partnership between GIZ, a German technical cooperation agency, Dr. Deepak from the side of GIZ. They are extending full support for our JIVA agroecology program, knowing pretty well that agroecology, elements of agroecology application at the field level is going to be the viable, sustainable alternative, especially in the rain-fed and vulnerable regions of the country. So this event today helped us to connect with a larger audience. I have seen morning the number has crossed 100 plus, more than 100. So we are sure whatever initiative we are taking up, the way we implemented watershed tribal development, now we are implementing JIVA program, mainly to make the soil as the living entity. This event, with the help of Village Square, has given an opportunity to connect with the village story building kind of journalists who are really interested to highlight the cause of farmers, highlight the best practices at the field level, in order to facilitate the policy makers to look at and contribute to the successful upscaling of this particular kind of approach in vulnerable regions. We place on record our sincere appreciation to GIZ, as also WASSAN. I mean, today you have seen the dual role. One is supporting as a resource support agency and implementation at the field level. We appreciate both WASSAN and GIZ for this kind of event. Of course, we also place on record the kind of initiative by Village Square, a digital platform. Really, it is a wonderful thing. We are very much happy and satisfied with this kind of event, which connected us with larger audience. We have students, researchers, and journalists today, and others who are interested in this kind of approach. So I think I will stop here. Dr. Deepak, you may like to add. Yeah.
So thank you, sir, for your closing remark. So maybe, sir, seeing the interest of participant, specifically the participation level, how the different questions they have posed, and even we have not covered all questions and different thematic area. And the technical session might be a bit dense for maybe some people who are not involved in agroecology or natural farming. So maybe in future also, sir, we can organize such focused thematic webinars focusing on certain themes, so that the participants can get basically specific information about that particular theme. So that is one suggestion. Second, if as some students are also there, if there are internship basically opportunity, if our project partners, specifically project facilitating agency, can facilitate basically field visits, so that these students can also learn basically from JIVA projects and from field, and they can use internship or opportunity for documenting maybe some stories or cases or research work. So that can also be facilitated. So this is from my side. So now, sir, we can now coming to the end of this webinar. So for vote of thanks, I would like to invite Subuhi to give a formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, Deepak. Yes, before the vote of thanks, I also request all the participants to fill the feedback form. It's on the chat box, and it'll only take you 2 minutes. So if you can kindly do that. Yes, and on behalf of Village Square, NABARD and GIZ, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you who joined us for today's enlightening webinar. And a special thank you to our esteemed panel of experts, Dr. A.V. Bhavani Shankar, Mr. Prakash Rao, Dr. Deepak Chamola, Dr. K. Satish Kumar, Ms. Prachi Patil, and Ms. Aishwarya Mohanty for sharing their invaluable insights and experiences with us. Your expertise and passion for sustainable agriculture have inspired us all, and we also appreciate the active participation and engaging questions from our attendees. And your enthusiasm, it is what makes these webinars truly special. So thank you for that, and thank you to our team members who worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make this webinar a success. Finally, we hope that knowledge and inspiration gained from this webinar will continue to resonate with you and inform your work in promoting sustainable agriculture practices. Thank you once again, and we look forward to connecting with you at our future events.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Deepak. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you.